excited about this video because for a while I felt like I never knew what to post until I kind of came up with a solid strategy and foundation for forming my content. Hey guys, in today's video I'm going to be going over the 7 types of Instagram posts I believe there are and how to make them work for you in your photography business. Okay, so these 7 things are going to be coming from my Instagram content calendar that I made for you guys. It's a calendar template that I drafted based on how I run my Instagram. So my Instagram is my #1 source of wedding clients, photography clients. It's my go-to form of marketing, and so it's proven to be really successful for me. So I put together a template based on how I run my Instagram so that you can copy it and tweak it to your business. So you can get that freebie in the link down below. The 7 things I'm going to talk about are going to come right out of that free calendar below, so I'm just going to kind of walk you through and explain what they are. Okay, so when I say type of post, what I'm talking about is type of content and not the format of content. So you can post on Instagram as an actual Instagram post picture or a video or IGTV or a reel or a guide or a story. So there are different formats for making your content into content, but what I'm talking about is the 7 types of actual content, and then each type you can make different versions of. So the first type of post is super easy, a behind the scenes post. People love to see behind the scenes posts, and the reason for that is that because you have to be able to sometimes visually see yourself doing business with a person before you actually sign up to do business with a person. And when you are when you're getting behind the scenes content of you, you're allowing your ideal clients to see themselves in the places of your current clients. So for weddings, I usually have an assistant come with me and just have their iPhone, just taking behind the scenes videos, photos of everything. And then afterwards, I will compile all that content that they took into reels, into Instagram posts, into anything I possibly can put together from what they documented. So that's a really easy way to get behind the scenes content. So if you don't have a lot of weddings going on or you don't have an assistant you can bring with you, another way to do this is to make faux behind the scenes content. So what I've done before is I have a tripod for an iPhone, which I'll link down below, and I will set up a details flat lay in my living room and then just record me doing it as if I'm actually at a wedding. I also have a dress from Lulu's. It's just a wedding dress I bought for $100 that I just use to take content of me with the wedding dress, me photographing a wedding dress. So you can make content look behind the scenes when it's not, just so you have something to showcase how you actually work. Second thing I think everyone should have is a sort of weekly thing that you do, or a weekly series. And I talk about this in another YouTube video about using social media to your strengths. So whatever format you're good at, whether it's video, whether it's writing, you should have something that you do every single week. You want to create a feeling of retention with your audience, and so just because they follow you doesn't mean they're paying attention to you. But if you have a weekly thing that you do, whether that's a weekly blog post, Instagram Live, IGTV, it gets people excited for that piece of content, and more than just a follower, they're actually waiting on the content. So pick a format that you are good at, so whatever is your strength, video, writing, posts, photography, whatever format you're most comfortable with. And then what I would do is take your ideal client, write it on a piece of paper. There are 30 problems that they run into all the time, and then in your weekly series, solve that problem. So for example, I do some Instagram Lives, and I try to solve a problem for my ideal client every week on Instagram Live or IGTV. And if you go into my Instagram, you'll see last week I did an Instagram Live about designing your album. And then the week before that, I did an IGTV video about hiring photo and video together. And then the week before that, I did best locations to elope in Virginia, DC. So it looks like it's just content, but for me and you on the back end, what it is every single week, I'm just picking one problem to solve, and I'm solving it in a video form. So it looks fluid and social, but it really is a strategy, and I really am coming up with one problem to solve every single week. So that's been really helpful to get a lot more traction and people's eyes on my content on Instagram. So some ideas for your weekly content could be a YouTube video, an IGTV video, an Instagram Live. Someone who does this super well, guys, is Jasmine Star. Look her up if you don't know who she is. She's a huge photographer in our space. But she does a weekly live Q&A, and you could do that too, a weekly just Q&A. Come up with 5 questions that you kind of want to talk about, but let people just ask you them live. works. Okay, so post type number 3 would be to build hype for this weekly content. So whatever you're, deciding your weekly thing is, have a post that comes out the day before that is like, oh, join in tomorrow at such and such time, or tomorrow I'm coming out with this. So that's like another way to have a piece of content to get people excited about that weekly content. Weekly content, like I said, should be in the same format every week so people get used to it. But number 4 would be to solve problems in different formats. So that same list that you came up with, even though you're picking one problem a week, another good way to diversify your content is to have another post every week that solves a problem in a different format. So for example, if I'm talking about getting ready, like the best room to get ready in on a wedding day, I might make an Instagram reel this week on that, and then I might make an Instagram post next week on jewelry for your wedding day, or where the groom should get ready on the wedding day, or whether or not you should have a first look in an IGTV or in a post form. So number 4 is just solve clients' problems in different formats, in different ways. And the reason that the different formats is so important is because people on Instagram actually consume content in different ways. Just like people have different listening skills and kind of like interpret things in different ways. Sometimes just because you make a really good video on IGTV about the same topic, it might not really resonate with someone who's more of a visual person and likes to read or something like that. So you might have a powerful piece of content, but in order for it to actually translate well, you need to be saying it in different ways. And also, I don't know if you guys have heard this saying, but it takes someone to see something 7 times before they actually remember and acknowledge that it's there. So you might feel like you're being repetitive, but you're actually not, because people are consuming so much content on Instagram, and you have to see something 7 times before it even registers that you are something is happening. 5 is just a post about personal brand awareness. So someone that explains this really well is Jenna Kutcher, and she's a huge educator in our space. She talks about the Jenna Kutcher 5, right, which is kind of the foundation for personal branding. So the short version of her whole concept is that you should have 5 things about you that you rotate on Instagram, and those 5 things should relate to your ideal client, and you talk about those 5 things a lot. For example, Jenna Kutcher is a huge wedding photographer in our space, but a big part of her personal brand is self-love, body image, and things like that. So she talks a lot about her journey with her body, her journey with her having her baby, and things like that are personal and about her brand, even though her business isn't in the self-love space, it's in the wedding photography space, if that makes sense. So what you are doing with your personal branding is you want to be strategic in things that are going to connect you to your ideal client, but make sure they're still true. So you don't want to be talking about a personal brand about something because you think it looks expensive and it looks great and it would attract you to luxury clients, when that is not something that you actually feel passionate about, because people can see through that, and also you won't be able to get good content on that if you can see through that. So need a human factor on Instagram. It's impossible for everyone on Instagram to actually know you in real life. So you want to make sure that you are not just doing that thing where you look glamorous and perfect all the time. Even if your brand is looking glamorous and perfect all the time, you want to have a piece of you that looks more vulnerable and like a real human being who likes mac and cheese like Jenna Kutcher, and you get what I'm saying. Type 6 is showcase the result of doing business with you. So I talked about earlier about behind the scenes, but number 6 is actually making your clients see your clients and the results. So a good example of that is I posted an IGTV video of one of my clients unboxing their wedding album, and any content you can get of your actual clients will help your future clients understand what it would be like to do business with you. Number 7 is a play on current circumstances. So this is huge, and I remember when I actually study social media. I read books about this, so I'm not just saying all this from total experience. I actually study it, and this is the type of content, if done well, will go viral. I don't know if you guys remember a few years ago when the Super Bowl power went out, and Oreo came out with a commercial on the spot about how the power was still out, but you could still eat an Oreo or something like that. And it was the best commercial that did better than any other like commercial Oreo has ever put out, because it was so relevant and they put it together so fast that everyone was talking about it. So whatever people are already talking about, if you can just join in on that conversation, that content will go really, really far. Content that is super, super relevant to today, the hour that we're in. If you want to go politics, you know, whatever is super relevant and people are talking about will get a lot more traffic just naturally, because you are using your business as a voice and people are already talking about it. Please leave a comment down below letting me know what post you've ever posted that did the best on Instagram, and what type of post was it in relation to like these 7 things, because I'm actually really curious. Want to get my free content calendar, you can get that down in the link below. I also have a Facebook group for wedding photographers, so we talk about this a lot in the Facebook group, and I go live in there all the time. You can join that in the link below. Now that you understand the strategy, if you want to actually go about planning this content with me, I actually think Planoly or any kind of thing like that is not enough. I use Asana to plan my Instagram content, and I will link that video here for you to watch next. And make sure you subscribe already if you haven't already, and I will see you here later on YouTube.